Hello, RCJ to Daniel here. Welcome to my channel. Some of you have seen my videos about the Atlantio brushless boat when I drive it in the lakes and different lakes and things. But now I wanted to make a video about the story about the Atlantio and tell you about the details and things like that. So let's start with that. It's going to be a long video, so hope you can bear with me. But anyway, I bought this boat around 2003 because my older boat before that broke. And that was a boat my father bought about to 1986, and the brand Robbe, and the boat name was Viking. And we drive the boat in the summer times a couple of years. And when we started with RC cars, then that boat ended up in the attic. Then was lying there for decades almost. But anyway, I wanted to take the boat home, and I did. And when I tried test drive it, it broke. So I bought this boat instead, the Atlantio, from my local hobby shop. And when I first bought it, I drive the boat like just in stock as it was, with the original Mabushi motor and an 8.4 volt nickel cadmium battery. And a few years later, I think 2005, I started to make some details on it, like fenders, and bought some painted pricer figures and things like that. Just a little start with details. And then after a few, I think maybe 2006, 2007, I was interested in RC cars again. And the boat ended up on my shelf instead. And there it was, stood there for about 15 years or so. And then 1.5 years ago, I wanted to take the boat down and fix things on it, and also, of course, upgrade the boat to brushless system instead. So I took it down from the shelf and began. So let's look into that more in detail right now. So the first thing I started with was to replace the rubber strip you can see around the boat. It goes all the way around to the other side. The older version was another type of rubber that has cracked over the years. So that was replaced by a bicycle hose rubber instead. So, but we start here in the front. I wanted to have an anchor on the boat, and from the beginning it's just a chrome anchor. It doesn't almost look like an anchor at all. So the first version of an anchor I had was a plastic one from a wooden ship actually, and I painted it in silver. But when I started 1.5 years ago to redo the boat again and fix all details that had cracked and stuff, I changed to this anchor instead, and this is a fishing hook. I also wanted to, instead of use a string on the anchor, I wanted to have a real chain instead. So I bought that, and you can also see this is an empty water. I don't know what to call it, but if you get water inside the boat, you can take this out and empty the water. Just pour out the water there. You can see the hole, and when you are done, you can just push this back again. So it's water sealed and good, and you can pour out the water. Let's continue up here. Those suntan mattresses is a remake of the older ones that also have cracked over the years. So this is also cut out from a bicycle hose. So those bikini bras have something new to lie their backs on. And when it comes to the windows, from the beginning, the original windows is no windows at all except for just stickers. And when it comes to all the details on the boat, you can just search on Google first on Atlantio 600. You can look from the original pictures and see the difference with the original compared to my boat. But anyway, when it comes to the windows, I exchanged the sticker windows to more real windows by using O-rings for window frame, and used the soft plastic around DVD plastic covers. And those also a detail that got cracked over the years. So this is a remake of the windows, and this rubber instead is the same as you use in all vehicles for protecting cables through the metallic holes. And the windows now is made from, instead of the soft plastic, this is more like Lexan plastic, so it's more stiff and looks more like a window. So, and it's the same all around the boat. It's identical 3 on the other side also, and on the rear of the boat you have this rounded shaped window. Let's see if we can get some, I don't know where the lights to make, I can, but there is a window there anyway. So, and we can continue up here on the top. The original window is gone. I didn't like that shape, and it was old, and the plastic was getting more like yellow and looked dirty. So I made this window myself by cutting out from side to side the whole window of I think it was a Traxxas racing truck body. So reshaped it and use it. I like this form much better. It looks more sport, like a sport boat. The other one you have to look for yourself on the original pictures if you like it or not. So, and also I screwed the window in place on the top by using also a rubber from bicycle hose. I think it looks more good it makes a good contrast with the white to use some black rubber, and also works like a seal for the window, like a seal strip, and also the steering wheel there is no longer totally original. The original is plastic, white plastic around it, but then this is also bicycle hose instead. So, and a little horn there. That fire extinguisher is also a older detail. I think it was around 2005 I did it, and have not exchanged it. Just the hose is a new one, because the older hose was made from a O-ring, and it also got cracked, of course, by the years and over the years. And this is that is from a cable instead. And the table is not original either. The original table is to like more a square shaped, and this more rounded, of course, and saves a little bit more room on the outside there. So also made by me, and also you can see the antenna wire. Originally you have the antenna in a antenna lube here. Now I have exchanged it for, it looks more like a tank fuel lid, but there was the original antenna tube. But I don't like antenna tubes on these kinds of boats, so I want to hide the antenna as much as possible, but get the functionality still. So that pole there that is used, of course, to hold the whole big lid on place, it's drilled through, so I can use the antenna wire through it. and the original clip is replaced by a clip I made by myself, and this clip goes around the pole instead of through it. So it's a good function. We can also, hope I did not forget something in the front, but I don't think so. I just gonna have to stand up here and go around the boat here in the rear. You can see the whole crane and the crane system. This is also a newer version of the old one. The old one was made from brass tubes used for car braking, and those also got uglier and started to rust over the years. So those got replaced by these tubes instead, and this is aluminum tubes that I have bent with a bending tool, and also real chains that the little boat is hanging from instead of strings I used before. Also, that just got cut off because the edge under there was too sharp. You also can see that little ladder that people can climb up and down from when they take a bath. Also a part I made a long time ago, so that is not been replaced by a newer one or something. That is hold up. And you can also see, if I get very close, you can see those black pads there. Those are functioning as like a real slippery protection pads. It is made by very, very fine sandpaper, wet sandpaper, like 1200 or something I cut out and glue it there. And the boat have trim tabs, or trim plans. That is not something I made by myself. That is option part directly from Kyosho that I bought, I think, just a few years after I bought the boat and installed it. The only thing I have really recently done is exchange the original Phillips screws to insect screws instead, that is rust free, and also painted those little insect screws that is not rust free or corrosion free. So made it yesterday, I think it was 2 days ago. And also the other part of the crane system you can see there with that thing you can make the boat go up and down with. This is also replaced to this version instead, made of plastic instead of the other one. It started to rust, and I think I have to take the lid off, so it's a little easier to see all the other details in the back here. I can also turn this a little up, and as you can see, I have installed a LED light under there. I'm gonna come to that a little later. But here we have some equipment and fun things. Let's start with this rubber tire is for RC planes, and of course it's gonna look like it is a rubber tire that you use and for folks to have fun with in the water, of course. And it's also hiding a fishing bucket under that I made a long time ago. And those rings are actually plastic rings from a ink pen. So you can see some fishing equipment there. It's a fishing rod and a fishing net. And some oars for the boat made of everything is made by carbon fiber and plastic and things like that. And you also have a life save equipment there. That's also is an old detail that I made a long time ago, never been replaced. And you can see that little box there, plastic box. From the beginning, I made a box made of wood and painted it a little blue. But over the time, I think that it didn't fit the boat, because the boat itself is made of plastic, and real luxury yacht boats are also made of like plastic or fiber glass or whatever. So I didn't think that wood fitted on the boat. So I did make a new box, and inside here we have some diving equipment I have made. I wanted to show you. Lift up the lid, and this is also a replaced version because the other diving tube has started to rust because I was lazy and I did not protect it with clear coat. So I did a new one. And you have those swim fins or whatever it's called for your feet. But cool little detail. Fits on a boat like this, I think. There. We can just take a little look under the boat before I go to the top of it. Here is also some other things. So I don't use the the original propeller axle anymore. It's been replaced by a longer because I had to, because I wanted to use hard aluminum props instead. And this is a 3-blade prop from TFL. It's a CNC aluminum prop, very, very hard. You cannot bend it. And there you have the little tube for the water cooling. And the rudder is not original either, but this replacement was by accident actually. And it was last year when I drove the boat in the lake. I wanted to take up the boat and do a little adjustment, I think it was. And I just had the boat in the water, and I took the radio and placed it on the ground, and the radio by accident fell and hit the throttle actually. So the boat took a little fast turn up on land, and I managed to do it twice. And the second time was one time too many for the original rudder, so it cracked. And I think that it was no use to try to fix it. It would never hold up anyway. And try to find a new original rudder was also very hard to think that was going to be done. So the option I had was to try to buy an aluminum rudder and make it work. So I found this rudder, but this is actually cut off. Let's see if I can. From the original length, I think it was down here somewhere, and more square formed. So I have cut it more than half and reshaped it so it looks like almost like a little short knife cutting through the water. So, but it works very good. So I don't have to think about the original rudder anymore. I'm just gonna lift the boat, put it in place again. There. Now we can get to the top, and here you can see a little more how it looks like with the antenna thing there. It goes right through it. And here you have the new brushless motor I use, and the motor stand, epoxy glued in place. The original motor mount was too weak to hold this motor. It just this motor was just it bumped up and down when I hit the throttle and watched the RPMs. So it was no good. So I had to replace the original weak motor mount with this instead. And it's water cooled motor, of course. And I also have a electronic switch. And I have a water pump installed, so I can hit a little button on my radio and start the water pump as I want. I think it looks so cool with a water pump on this type of boats, of course. And here you also can set one more LED lamp, and there's also one installed under here. I can take the lid off and show you a little how it looks like inside. The box itself is original one. Here you can see the big water-cooled ESC and the steering servo. I had to remount the servo actually. It's in its original position. The servo is mounted on the wide side, if I say so, in the right in the rear. But I had to move it to the side instead because the ESC didn't fit otherwise. So I had to modify it a little bit there and do my own servo mount in the side. So I'm gonna put the lid on again. There. What's more? Yeah, here is something that is pretty interesting, I think, for you. If I lift off this is also a lid for the servo mount thing here. The steering linkage actually is more correctly. Here you can see how it looks like. Originally it's sorry. Here, this servo horn here, originally it is a plastic one. I have replaced it with an aluminum instead. And another detail I wanted to do that I came up with is that I think if I do this, put my hand under here, if you notice, you can see that it's a little bit wobbly and not so stable. So when the boat is turned, this is what it is in original. When it's turning and things like that, I think it is, as you can see, a little wobbly. And I thought about an idea to try to make it more stable. And I came up with this thing. Under the lid, I glued a brass tube that is exactly the inside the brass tube is exactly the same size as that piano or steel pin there. So in that case, this tube helps to make it more stable when the boat is turning, not wobbling anymore. We're gonna just put this back in place here if I can. Some things is hard to do with one hand just because you hold the phone, of course. There, I just hit the pause so I could put the lid on place again, so I don't have to waste so much time on it. I think I'm gonna end the video by showing you the lights on the boat. I think that should be a good thing to do for the last thing here. I'm just gonna, so you can see how it looks like. Let's turn them on. So you can choose. I think it's a very cool detail and looks good. You can choose from very different colors and things. How about, let's say, red, green, very light blue, yellow, orange. Just for example, it's a very purple and pink and things like that. You can also use different types of lights, not just the color. You can use a strobe light and a fade light and smooth light. I don't know exactly what smooth. And you can also use flash. And just white. And just so you can see, here you have the light in the front of the boat also. Compared to if I turn it off, you can see the big difference. Here we have it again. And how about change to, let's say blue. There. Light green. And white again. So off again, on again, I mean. White light. For now it's too light outside to make a video that going to show the light on the boat, but when the summer is gonna start, it's gonna end, and it's gonna be a little bit darker outside in the evenings. I want to do a video and have the lights turn on the boat and make some like a evening video driving movie. But now we have seen the details and heard the story about the Atlantio boat, and I know this was a very long video, and I thank you for bearing with me, and thank you so much for watching. And if you're interested, and if you have questions about my boat and what I have done and so far, you can put a comment down below, and I will try to answer as soon as I can. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like button, and also if you want to make sure you don't miss anything, a new video, so hit also that notification button. But thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye. Take care.